Hello, this is Dave Lee Travis, and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Bikes. Are you tired of sitting in traffic jams or paying extortionate train fares? Well, fear not, as today I bring you the Top 10 Scooters, 10 versions of traffic-beating, fare-dodging fun. Starting the show at number 10 is the BMW C1. BMW, what were you thinking when you came up with the C1? Apparently it's a practical solution to urban mobility. Yeah, scooter with a roof. Very practical. Okay, what are the benefits of the C1? Well, obviously, weather protection provided by the roof. Rider safety as you're belted into the C1's torsionally rigid occupant cell. It has the convenience of a bike with car-like safety, which makes it a logical commuter. Although it looks cumbersome, the C1 handles surprisingly well, and the ride isn't all that bad either. It can get away quickly at the lights and cruise happily on the motorway, while the rider is kept cosy behind the windscreen. It weighs a rather hefty 185 kilos, and that, coupled with its long wheelbase, can make parking it as entertaining as it looks. There are lots of extras to be had with the C1. ABS, anti-dive suspension, a seatbelt of course, lockable glove box and top case. You can even have an interior lamp, heated grips and a stereo. In more enlightened European countries, you don't need to wear a helmet as you're strapped in, so you can turn up at your destination without helmet hair. Unfortunately, here in Blighty, the powers that be don't see it the way our European neighbours do. Shame really, lack of helmet almost makes the C1 cool. The C1 comes in 3 versions: the standard C1, the C1 family friend, not that it's going to babysit the kids for you, and the C1 executive. So if you don't mind the odd looks the other road users are going to give you, and you fancy a bike with a seatbelt, the C1 could be just what you're looking for. What did our panel have to say?
C1 200, well, I must confess, although I've been a BMW dealer or associated with a BMW dealer in the past and I respect them, I'm not a C1 fan. There are a few design concepts and the whole attitude of sitting in this open-sided cocoon bothers me slightly, but it was innovative. It is only a single seat, storage is not as good as it could be.
I had the misfortune to spend a lot of time on a C1 200 and don't get me wrong, it is a really good, sturdy, reliable machine. But it's the kind of thing that if you left it running with the keys in outside your house, you'd come back the next morning or a few hours later and it would still be there.
The BMW C1 scored 65%. At 9, it's the golden oldie Vespa PX 125. If retro is what floats your boat, then the Vespa PX 125 should do nicely. Its styling can only be described as classic. The original PX was launched way back in 1977. Unlike the others in this category, which are fully automatic, the PX has a 4-speed manual gear change. It has the traditional Vespa spare wheel mount and a robust steel frame. The 2-stroke single with disc valve induction is a lively little motor. The sharp acceleration ensures that you're the first away at the lights, turning heads as you tiptoe through the traffic. It has a reasonable top speed too, 65 miles an hour, believe it or not. The Vespa is very reliable with front disc and rear drum brakes that guarantee safe and controlled stopping. The Vespa now has an electric start with a kickstart as backup, so you don't have to skin your shins kicking the engine over. It even has the vintage-styled badge. The PX only weighs 97 kilos, and with an 8-litre tank it should run for ages on a tank full of petrol. So if you fancy a trip down memory lane, the Vespa is the ultimate scooter. A functional, robust, reliable scooter which costs less than £2,000 to buy and very little to run, but also has a unique design which has never gone out of style. Let's hear from our panel.
The Vespa PX 125. Well, what can you say about this design of bike? It's been with us since year dot. It is such an iconic bike. Maybe the whole circle's coming back again and it's the thing to be seen on. It's never going to set your motorcycling world on fire, but it's a very nice way to get from A to B.
Designed in the classic style and very, very popular, although some purists don't like them at all.
It looks like a snail, and it's a bit like riding a snail actually. Now, I cut my teeth on Vespas and Lambrettas, so I mustn't be too harsh, but I'm afraid its time has been.
The Vespa PX 125 scored 71%. In at number 8 is the Honda at 125. The Honda at 125 just oozes European cool. This bike is where the classic scooter looks meet 21st century technology. The stacked headlights give a stylish, if unusual, look for a scooter. The name was chosen to reflect the era of the internet and prove that Honda moves with the times. The At is aimed primarily at women and young people, hence its funky good looks. There's a ton of storage on this petite machine. There's room under the seat for a full-face crash helmet and extra storage in the front fairing for those essential little knickknacks that you need close by, like your car park ticket. The 4-stroke single is pleasantly tuned and can hold its own in the traffic. The brakes are linked, just so you can keep your riding as smooth as the At looks. The reduced level of vibration and noise make it a comfortable, relaxed ride. It's quiet, economical, light and agile, and a snip at £2,000. For a Honda, it certainly has plenty of va-va-voom. Let's hear what our panel thought.
It's a strange name for a strange looking scooter. Some people will like the styling, some people won't. But it'll do what it does. It'll take you to the shops, it'll take you to school, whatever you want.
When you look at it, it's a funny bit of kit. I don't think there's a lot of credibility amongst the younger scooter buyers, but having said that, it's great transport, it's Honda, it's going to be infinitely reliable.
The Honda at 125 scored 72% from our panel. Rolling in at number 7 is the Aprilia Atlantic. As with all Italian motorcycles, the Atlantic is a superb looking machine. Designed with comfort and style in mind, the Atlantic has achieved its goal. The tall screen means that neither the rider nor the pillion will be buffeted on those long motorway stretches. The ride quality is brilliant, and the big scoot is as sure-footed as a mountain goat. The single-cylinder Peugeot engine has plenty of punch and is capable of pulling the Atlantic's considerable weight of 193 kilos. The Aprilia is big, comfy and dynamic, has the benefits of a scooter as well as the benefits of a motorcycle. This large scooter is as capable as a proper bike when it comes to touring. The power and torque at low revs are brilliant. Noise and vibration have been reduced due to a balancing shaft, and a steering damper has been added for better high-speed stability. There is a massive 47 litres of storage space. 2 full-face helmets can be engulfed by the underseat storage, which opens automatically on a gas strut. How flash, I hear you cry. There's even more space in the leg shields, so you can take the kitchen sink with you. The Atlantic comes fully loaded with a rev counter, diagnostic computer, engine cut switch if you're silly enough to drop it, and a mobile phone charger socket. It's a good price, it performs well and looks fantastic. But did it win over our panel?
These feet forward, bigger engine scooters are, it's certainly a different concept, a different slant on scootering. Difficult really to just look at it as a scooter within this category, because you've got a price parity of up to, you know, 6,000 plus for some of the bigger engine feet forwards, and then we're down running around 14, 15, 1,600 pounds for some of the other scooters.
Our panel has given the Aprilia Atlantic 74%. Dashing into the number 6 spot is the Italjet Dragster 125. Apart from the DNA, the Italjet Dragster has the funkiest looks of the scooters featured. The Ducati-esque trellis frame gives the Dragster its distinctive appearance, and the bodywork gives it a sports bike look. The innovative engineers at Italjet decided to veer away from the traditional twin-fork configuration and came up with the independent steering system. Basically, the front hydro-pneumatic suspension is positioned horizontally. This vastly improves the Dragster's manoeuvrability, and it takes bumps in its stride. Weighing only 107 kilos, the Dragster goes like a rat up a drainpipe. A tuned version can do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. Just the trick for beating a slavering R1 away from the lights, momentarily anyway. This rude boy scoot is powerful, easy to handle, and with that unique frame, it's a bit of a head turner. It's fantastic to ride and has a real feel-good factor to it. You just can't get enough. It turns a city commute into an urban jungle challenge. The only downside to this little gem is the plastics are easily broken and they can warp with heat. The brakes aren't all that good, it's not terribly practical and a bit pricey. On the other side, it looks good and unusual. It's fast and it's fun. What's a little warped plastic between friends?
Go really well, chrome clocks, look absolutely stunning. The only thing is we did have a few problems with sort of reliability issues. Keys that snap off in locks. We had a slight braking problem as well with one of them, but you still had a rush for the keys in the evening. People still wanted to ride it because it's a great looking scooter.
It's a sort of a naked scooter, which is a little bit of a different concept. I think it's taken its styling theme from the Ducati Monster. You have a look at the metallic chassis. You have a look at the funky hub centre steering. I've done some quite interesting tests around London on both the 125 and the 180. The 180 is a better bike for me in terms of engine power. I just think street cred, you know, it's got it by the bucket.
The Italjet Dragster 125 scored 76% from our panel. Time for a quick break, but don't go away. You might miss a life-changing experience or a scooter you fancy as we continue our top 10 countdown of scooters. Welcome back to part 2 of the top 10 bikes with me, Dave Lee Travis. Sit back, relax and enjoy the top 5 scooters of 2002. Our number 5 is the Yamaha TMax. The Yamaha TMax is yet another contender in the big scooter range. Convenience of a scooter with the advantages of a big bike. Apparently the TMax sees itself as a high-speed sports commuter. The 500cc engine produces 40 brake horsepower, plenty of ponies for motorway work and longer distances. The TMax is comfortable and has good weather protection with its ample fairing. The engine is used as a stressed member in the frame to achieve superb chassis rigidity. The telescopic front forks are the same type as used on sports bikes. This gives it handling stability at motorway speeds. To save on maintenance, the chain runs through an oil bath fully enclosed in the rear arm. Dead handy. No scrabbling around on your knees trying to oil the chain. The TMax hasn't got quite the luggage capacity of the other big scooters with a measly 33 litres, big enough for a helmet and a briefcase. The low centre of gravity means it's easy to manoeuvre, but the TMax is quite chunky, so watch out for car wing mirrors. The TMax costs £6,000, has superb build quality and is a good reliable commuter. You might even find the need to take it for a spin on a Sunday afternoon. How did our panel rate the Yamaha TMax?
This was the first of what people call maxi scoots, and much like the Burgman 500, it's completely pointless. Why buy one of these when you can buy a proper motorbike for that money?
Part of the fashion at the moment with scooters is they're really going for the big bore, feet forward, maxi scooter market. By this, it's sort of trying to take two-wheel transport into the arena almost of bikes, so that you've got sort of big capacity engines, lots of boot space, but with all the sort of practicalities of a scooter where you just twist and go. And the TMax is one of these.
The TMax scored 78% from our panel. Scuttling into the number 4 spot is the Gelareh Runner 50. The Gelareh Runner is just that, an ideal little runaround. It can nip through the traffic much more efficiently than any car ever could. The 50cc Runner is by far one of the sportiest 50cc scooters around, but doesn't have the race bike look. De-restricted, the Runner 50cc will do about 55 miles an hour on the speedo or 60 miles an hour downhill. Its two-stroke engine is both easy to maintain and quite cheap to service. On a little bike like this, fuel economy is a big plus. That, coupled with reasonable performance, makes the Gelareh a sensible buy. With aluminium alloy wheels, low-profile tubeless tyres and hydraulic front forks, the Runner is well planted. Nifty and nimble in traffic, this little beauty is the ideal city bike. And costing less than £2,000, how could you not buy one? Extremely economical on fuel and sporty looking to boot. They hold a good line and have superb brakes. Only downside is lack of grunt, but it's only a 50cc after all. Less. So, if you're a city slicker tired of being stuck in traffic, maybe you should go for a run on the Gelareh Runner.
Love Gelareh Runners. 50's a little bit slow for me. It protesteth to my excess weight, but nonetheless, it's a great looking bike. The lads look good on them, the girls look good on them. It's big and it's beefy. It's got some substance when you're riding it. I actually love the runners. I love riding them.
The Gelareh Runner scored 80%. The Gelareh DNA 180 is at number 3 on our chart of scooters. The Gelareh DNA is where the world of bikes meets the world of scooters. It's the ultimate hybrid. It looks like a naked street bike, but has all the useful attributes of a traditional scooter. An automatic engine so you can just twist and go, and squeeze the handlebar mounted brakes to slow down. Simple. This has to be the coolest learner bike out there. Both the 50cc and the 125cc versions are learner legal. It handles as good as it looks, and the 180cc has enough get up and go to beat the big bikes away at the lights. It turns quickly with the minimum of rider input. The brakes are as sharp as it looks, and you have to admit it looks pretty sharp. Even though this isn't a traditional feet-forward scoot, it has retained the scooter trait of a helmet storage bay, but instead of being under the seat, it's under the fake petrol tank. Clever stuff. It's the ultimate in cool. Ride this and your street cred will rocket. So why is it called the DNA, I hear you cry? Well, apparently it's redefined the genetic link between scooters and motorcycles, so now you know. You've seen the bike, now let's hear from our panel.
Gelareh decided to launch this funky scooter at Silverstone on the Stowe circuit, and it was a great day. Unfortunately, a lot of them went back slightly bent.
Sometimes when you look at it, you think it could do with the DNA test just to try and determine what it really is. Sort of half scooter, half bike. I've seen a lot more of them on the road now. I remember when it was launched at the NEC, we were looking at it thinking, is it, isn't it? And they had it rotating on a mirror so we could have a look at all of it. I actually love it.
The Gelareh DNA scored 82%. The number 2 slot goes to the funky Peugeot Speedfight. The Speedfight styling just sparkles with new subtle changes to the body panels which have breathed new life into it. Teamed with dazzling new headlights and instrumentation, the Peugeot really is a looker. The unique anti-dive single-arm front suspension gives smooth ride and ease of handling. Fuel economy is superb, and it has one of the most unique security devices on the market. That's right, the integral boa lock, which snakes out from the rear tailpiece so you can secure your bike to any suitable ground anchor. Another Peugeot security device is the immobilizer unit. If some evil person tries to take your scoot by bypassing the ignition, the system shuts the whole machine down, rendering it useless. Voted Motorcycle News Scooter of the Year in '97, '98 and again in 2000 shows that Peugeot are doing something right. Peugeot have had plenty of practice on the bike front. They produced their first bike in 1902 and even took part in the Isle of Man TT in 1907. It's easy on your pocket, costing less than £2,000, easy on fuel and easy to ride. And with that Gallic design flair, it looks good too. Let's hear from our experts.
The Peugeot Speedfight is one of the most popular bikes in Britain at the moment, and it's easy to see why. This low maintenance scooter will get you going around for basically nothing. It costs nothing to insure, nothing to run, and you'll get most of your money back when you sell it. What a way to go.
This is probably the best looking scooter, especially the ones that come in the Peugeot World Rally Championship colours. I had one a week or so ago for a little while, and it was great just to whiz to work on, whiz to the shops, and you can do skids on them, which is great.
A really, really good little scooter. There's no pretensions with it. It looks nice, it goes well, and that's it. And that's what a lot of people want from their scooter.
The Peugeot Speedfight scored 84%. Before we reveal the number 1 spot, let's have a quick rundown on the scoots so far. At 10, the oddball BMW C1. At 9, the classic Vespa PX 125. Slotting into the number 8 spot is the Honda At 125. In at 7 is Aprilia's biggie, the Atlantic. And at 6 we have the funky Italjet Dragster 125. At 5 is the Yamaha TMax. Dashing in at 4 is the Gelareh Runner. At 3 is Gelareh's genetic masterpiece, the DNA. And at 2, the sparky Peugeot Speedfight. This week's #1 spot goes to the Suzuki Burgman 650. The big brother of all scooters, the Suzuki Burgman is one of a kind, fitted with the Suzuki electronically controlled continuously variable transmission which doesn't roll off the torque, offers 3 modes of operation: normal automatic for efficiency around town, power automatic for more punch per twist, and manual mode if you want to pretend you've got a real motorbike. With oodles of power, the Burgman is ideal for two-up touring, with enough power to pass those pesky cars. Its low centre of gravity also means it's fine around town. The 4-stroke twin performs well and has plenty of torque to pull you, a passenger and your luggage all the way from here to Timbuktu. The fairing provides reasonable weather protection, and the huge seat gives plenty space for you and your pillion to stretch out. It even has a lever-adjusted rider's backrest. Very posh. The Burgman has masses of storage space, 56 litres in fact, tucked neatly under the seat. It's so big it even has an interior light fitted. There's also a lockable compartment with a mobile phone charging point. All the mod comes, really. This is one big brother that's worth watching and won't be blagging its way into film premieres pretending to be famous.
Interesting, the Burgman. It's mightily expensive. You know, we're heading towards £6,500, but it does have a value out there.
So our #1 scooter, the Suzuki Burgman 650, scored 87% from our panel of experts.
Thank you very much indeed for this award. It's really appreciated by the Suzuki GB and the Suzuki Motor Corporation. It's a great award to achieve. It's a new bike, it's a new scooter. It's probably the most technically advanced scooter in the market, and probably some cars come to that. I think it's been appreciated by customers. The bike can tour, it can commute, it can do many, many things. And we're hoping more success in 2003 for this product. Thank you again.
That's the end of this week's show. Do join me, Dave Lee Travis, next week for another chart of top 10 bikes.